Hey guys, just got done watching Hellraiser on Netflix. I do not own it, and I did look into buying it, but it was about $13 and it was out of stock. And I was like, I'm not going to go to extreme lengths to look for a film which I'll probably pick up for a few dollars in the future. So I thought, Netflix, I'll have a look. There it was. Last movie of the night. That's 4 Hellraiser movies in a day. That's not too bad. Um, so basically, this film stars Carrie Wooer, Paul Rice, Simon Kunz, Mark Warren, who's quite a big actor in England, Georgina Rylas, Doug Bradley, and so forth. Basically, Amy Klein is a reporter. She just got done with an expose about prostitution and crack prostitutes and stuff like that. And she gets sent to Budapest. No, she gets sent to Budapest, I think, to basically research about Romanian cult. And basically, she gets on the plane and she goes, woo, 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 and she gets there, and basically, she goes to see Marla. Yeah, she goes to see Marla, but then when she pays the landlord so she can go in there, and Marla's dead. And basically, she goes behind her, basically goes like this, it's like around her to get the package. And she also finds the gold puzzle box, the Layman box, which, to be honest with you, is pretty good. To be honest with you, it was alright. She then watches a video that Marla made, apparently in case she died, but it says, whatever you do, don't open the box, don't touch it, basically, because it's evil and all that other stuff. Stuff you've heard in all the other movies. You know, this is the 7th movie, after all. So, she decides to touch the box, these chains come out and grab hold of her, and you kind of get a sense of Pinhead and that, and the Cenobites. You kind of get the feeling of them, and you know they're there and stuff. And then they let go of her, and then comes just like the last two movies, get a whole load of flashbacks. I think he was trying to say that Amy was abused by her father or something, because the black and white things of her being locked in a cupboard and stuff, and in a closet and stuff like that. I'm guessing, and basically she goes looking for Winter, who's basically the Romanian cult leader. Because basically what happens is they're called the Deaders, and they kill themselves, and then Winter somehow brings them back to life. So basically they're like dead kind of zombie vampire looking people, and in a really cheap budget movie set in Budapest, Romania, and she goes and talks to Mark Warren, who's Joey, on the train. And she talks to him, and he's like, "Oh, what's up, pussycat?" and all this, real English like. And she ends up finding Winter, and Winter goes on about how she's this and she's that. And then you get Pinhead say that she's working for them, but the only way is through him, and all this other stuff. And you're like, is this supposed to be kind of like the Deaders versus the Cenobites? And basically it starts going further downhill. She wakes up with a knife in her back, which is quite interesting. But then Marla turns up alive, but kind of dead alive. Like woken up dead and all this. And she goes on about how the Deaders need her, and Pinhead's constantly wandering around like, ooh, the background. He's not in it really that much. And the Cenobites look cool in it, but you don't see them a lot either. The film is not that good. I've got to be honest. It's probably the second worst after Bloodline, so far anyway. So basically, near the end, she gets these flashbacks, just like in Hellseeker. You don't know what's real and what's not. And it's nice with you. After a couple of movies, when it happens, you kind of get a bit tired of it. So you're a bit like, come on, bring something new to the table. So there I'm watching it. We get to the end. Uh, Winter confronts Pinhead basically and says, "You can't hurt me, you can't kill me." And Pinhead says his usual stick. Many have said that before, but the only way is through me. And then he gets the chains that go. And he actually laughs at him. He gets the chains and basically gets torn apart. And then he finishes off his work, basically. The deader bloke's work, Winter, by killing the rest of them and taking their souls. Now that leaves Amy left. And basically, Marla's on the floor like, don't let him take you, and all this. So basically, she stabs herself and kills herself. Now, surely, killing herself would mean he could still take her. In those last few seconds, he could take her. Surely that's what happened to Julia in this first film when Frank stabbed her in the stomach and they had her on the bed and they did the chains thing. Surely that's what happened then. So why couldn't they do it to her then? So that didn't really make sense. The whole Deader thing feels like it was meant to be a movie on its own, which it was. But the movie would have sucked. And to be honest, the movie having the Hellraiser element in it makes it okay, but it isn't a Hellraiser film. Like people said, Pinhead and that come in at the last 2-3 minutes, and they're in this odd scene every now and again. But it just looks like a cheap Buddha Quest movie, you know, because it's cheap to make horror movies over there. You get Lost in Seagal movies over there, so that explains a lot. So it was quite disappointing. I mean, it was watchable. I mean, it was my fourth Hellraiser movie of the day, so it was definitely watchable. And I wasn't bored of it. I found it interesting, but it's not one of those films I'd recommend watching again. You watch it once because it's in the Hellraiser universe, even though technically it isn't. It's like, basically, it's like watching, like, oh, I don't know. It'd be like watching Attack Force. I think it's Attack Force, the Steven Seagal movie, and just putting Hellraiser in that. It's kind of like that. It doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make sense. Doug Bradley is always wonderful and always great, and sadly, in the later films, he doesn't really get much time on the screen, and I think he's the best part of it, to be honest. I mean, he really made Hellraiser 1 and 2 fantastic. And 3 wasn't too bad, but it was stupid in the way he was stuck in the statue. Doug Bradley deserves to be in the movies a lot more. Mark Warren's fantastic. I like Mark Warren a lot though because he was in The Vice and he was in Green Street and some other stuff that I like. He was in Hustle. They're all English shows. And one's a film. Green Street's an English football hooligan film. If people don't know that. But yeah, so the Cenobites looked great, but you didn't hardly see them. They looked better than the last movies, but you hardly saw them. So it was kind of like a waste of time, you know, making them up. But yeah, the film was okay. It was decent. It wasn't anything special. To be honest, it wasn't a letdown. It just wasn't that great. The whole Deader thing to me is like watching people become vampires or whatever they're meant to be. And just kind of weak vampires at that, just standing around going, ooh. So I didn't see that because it was like cult killing and bring back to life, you know, which to me is like a vampire movie thing. I think if they'd have kept it to the Deader story, like just been called Deader without the Hellraiser elements, you know, about Pinhead and the Cenobites, I think it probably would have been a little bit better. It probably would have been maybe a star and a half better, just because it would have been a little bit more original. Even though it was still weak, it had some really bad acting in it. I would have liked to have seen more of the Cenobites. I mean, I think the Cenobites are what make the Hellraiser movies in a lot of cases. I mean, we want to see how creepy they are. We want to see what they're going to do. We want to see Pinhead walk around with his voice, making funny gestures at people. Can you imagine that? Here. If he did that, can you imagine that? It'd be funny. But no, just it's a disappointing one. I've got a feeling the next two are going to be Hellworld and Revelations, because I've never heard anything good about Revelations. Hellworld I'm sure might be as well, but then the last two, and then I get to go on to more different movies. So, what's my final verdict? Because I haven't got a case, so I can't go, whoa. My final verdict is that if you've seen all the other films, give it a watch. Don't expect anything new or fresh from it. Enjoy the deader part of the storyline. Just don't basically concentrate on it being a Hellraiser film, and then it'll be fairly decent. It won't be great because it's not that great because it's really low budget, kind of terrible kind of thing, you know, feeling. But it reminds me of the average Steven Seagal film, like I said a minute ago. That's what it reminds me of in quality. Not really bad, but not really good either. Pinhead, Doug Bradley, he's in it, but don't expect to see him all the way through the movie. Just enjoy the movie for what it is, and just enjoy the bits when Pinhead and the Cebites do turn up. But I do think you owe it to yourself to kind of watch all of them. If you're a big fan, you should watch all of them anyway. Even Bloodline, I hate that film, but even Bloodline, you should watch them because that's what I'm doing. You know, it's like when I get my Halloween set. I'm gonna go through all the Halloweens, and I hate the Rob Zombie ones. But I'm still gonna watch them because they're part of it. You know. I mean, that's debatable. I mean, they're not a part of the actual original, but they're part of, you know, the franchise, as they say. So, yeah, I think people should watch Deader because it is a lot better than Bloodline, even if it's by a tiny bit. I found it easily watchable. As Bloodline, I didn't. I've kept thinking to myself, why am I watching this rubbish? And, you know, it's good to see Mark Warren in the role, you know. Uh, what's the name? Carrie. Why does these always have a weird name? Karawura was also in the Posse Forsaken and Awakening, I think it is. I've got them on Blu-ray, so I'm gonna probably watch them eventually. The five Prophecy movies. So I'll probably review them. But there you go, my screen turned itself off. But yeah, I recommend giving it a go. It's not fantastic. It's not that bad. It's easily watchable, especially if you're just relaxing in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. in the morning. So give it a go. Pick it up really cheap. Don't spend a fortune on it because it's not worth it. So yeah, watch it on Netflix. I can't show. Okay, so thanks for watching my review, guys, and please look forward to the next two: Hellraiser, Hellworld, and Revelations. Thanks, guys, for watching. Take care, and let me know what you thought of the movie. Let me know what you think of any of the movies I've done reviews of. I like hearing people's thoughts, and I like also interacting and hearing, you know, getting the communication from it. So, yeah, you know, maybe a debate, maybe, even. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and have a lovely day. See you later, guys.